Good morning. We're going to go straight into a dance track. So, here goes. Here's to a great start of the day. Feel free to turn your speakers up. It's going to be fun. Good morning. Aha. Hey. Okay. Hello everyone. Thanks for joining me. Hi Cyprus. Julia, where are you? You're on a boat somewhere in warmer climates. Right, I'm just going to gather my breath for a moment. You might like to do the same too if you've been dancing with me. My heart rate is definitely elevated. That makes it a little bit challenging to speak at the same time. So I'm just going to wait for everything to come back to a kind of centralised space before I start speaking. I think I'm also going to grab a glass of water, which I've put somewhere. Hang on. Ha ha! Good morning. Welcome everybody into my home. It's Friday morning, it's just gone 6 o'clock. I'm delighted that you can join me. Top tip. Do you know how much water you drink every day? I do because I log it. And right now it's not enough. So I'm reminding you, which helps me remember that I need to drink more water too. Freeing Friday. I'm going to share a few tips with you to end my week and take you into the weekend. This week, I renamed some of the days. Don't need anybody to agree with me. I just spontaneously come up with creative ideas. Thank you. I come up with spontaneous ideas to help me stay happy and healthy, and then I like to share them with other people because that makes me smile, because that helps me, because I know that I'm making a difference in somebody's life when I can see a really big smile on somebody's face, and I know the difference between a real heartfelt smile and one that's kind of covering up that maybe things aren't too good, and we've all been there, haven't we? So it's Freeing Friday. But before we get to Freeing Friday and my logic behind why I've decided to call Friday Freeing Friday, I just want to kind of review on this week, which is the different names that I've given to each day of the week. So we started with Monday, which was Meaningful Monday. And in my world, I believe, and with all my teachings and experience, that nothing means anything apart from the meaning that we ascribe to something. The mind does not know the difference between thought and reality. Now that's very, very significant, because if things aren't necessarily going the way we want them to, it means we can change them. And something else that I was taught by one of my mentors many years ago is that we're meaning-making creatures. We're meaning-making creatures. So what we do as humans is that we continually place meanings on things. And there'll be a story and thoughts going around in our head. And actually, a lot of the time, some of it just isn't true. It can be fear-based, and that can get in the way of our health and our happiness. So I thought I'd come up with renaming some meanings for each day of the week, and to help us focus on different things, to help create more health and happiness in our lives. Are we all up for that? Yeah. I started with a dance because I think when you dance, it can be very, very freeing. It places you in the present moment. It does for me because I'm very comfortable dancing. My mum said that I would dance. I would dance before I could walk. And when we are aware of the impact and the power of living in the present moment, it means that we can change our lives in a really, really positive way. It means that we're not living in the future, futurizing things which might be scary or just too far forward, and it means that we're not living in the past. And when you're here in the present moment, it's very, very powerful, because you can change your reality in a moment, and it all starts with the way you think. So I've renamed the days of the week. Let's have a look. I've probably got about 10 minutes. So we're going to go until about 6 UK time. Monday. So this week I decided to call Monday Meaningful Monday. When we fill our lives with things that are meaningful for us, guess what happens? We feel happier. So I consciously do that, and that helps boost my happiness and my health. Number 2, Tuesday this week, I called that Truthful Tuesday. A very wise author, whose name has escaped me at the moment, said, don't believe anything that anybody else says, and don't believe anything that you say. We have to watch our thoughts, because it might not be true. And that can lead us into pain and lack and limitation. So truthfulness, being truthful. Being truthful is very important to me. But what I've also been learning in my life is that one person's truth is not somebody else's truth. And sometimes that doesn't matter, as long as it's coming from a place of integrity. And as long as it's coming from a place of integrity. And it's really important to respect somebody else's truth, even if it is not your truth. And if we do that with respect, then it places us in a position of, number one, respect, and it helps us feel happier because we let go of judgments. Because if we're continually judging other people by their truths, if we don't necessarily agree with them, then it places us into a place of constriction. So, and we really want to be as free as possible. Okay, Wednesday, what did I say? Wellness Wednesday. I had an interesting week this week, focusing on my health. What we focus on grows. Some of you may have heard that saying, and it's really, really true. When we focus on positive, some people will be positive habitually, some people will be more negative, and naturally. And when we focus on wellness and how well we can be, which is something that I do and have been doing for quite a few years now, more of that will come into your reality. So I'm continually focusing on how I can feel well and be well. And that's what I live and breathe, and that's what I teach. So on Wednesdays at the moment, I've called it Wellness Wednesdays, and I invite anybody to try it out on a Wednesday. Think about what you could do to feel really, really well. A few years ago, I asked for optimum health. And that's what I focus on. I focus on how can I live my life in a way that I can optimize my health. And as a result, my energy, my vitality, my experience of life has just been increasing and increasing for a number of years. So I'm really happy and delightful about that, which leads me into Thursdays. So I decided last week to call Thursdays Thankful Thursdays. Giving gratitude is very, 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 very powerful. I do a simple process every day, which is to write down 3 things in the morning and 3 things in the evening that I'm grateful for. It is so powerful. Try it. If we're having a bad day, for example, and everybody does, we're human beings, we're dealing and contending with life all the time. If something goes wrong, what I do is I take a few minutes, time out, and I sit and I write down, I'm so happy and grateful for, or I'm so happy and grateful now that I feel. And then I fill in the blanks. And even if I'm not feeling great, I will find something that I am grateful for in my life. And when I place my focus and attention on that, my mind state changes, my thinking changes, and how I feel inside changes. So I really invite you to do that. It's really, really powerful. That leads us to Friday, Freeing Friday. So last Friday, when I did my first live stream of this nature, when I decided that on Fridays at 6 o'clock until further notice that I would do a a celebration of life dance, I did that, and then I went and I had I treated myself to breakfast, and I changed my environment to go and get on with some work, and I was really called to then go outside, and I went down to the beach at Newgale, which is not very far from where we are locally. I had my headphones on and I stood on the top of the pebbles. Anybody who lives in Pembrokeshire will know it well. It's the pebble bank next to the road. And I just danced. And it was really interesting because I was sitting in the cafe, in the Sam's Cafe, and I had my music on and I was working, and I could see the waves from the corner of my eye, and they seemed to be going in time with the music. And so I just thought, I've got to stop work and go out there. And I had my music on and the headphones, and everything in that moment was in sync. I didn't have any thoughts in my head at all. And I just decided to dance. I spontaneously just went with the flow and went with how I felt. And it was incredible. Lots and lots of cars drove past. Some didn't notice because they were fortunately focusing on driving carefully. And some people were like this. Some people were smiling. Some people kind of came closer to see what I was doing. And I was totally oblivious to what anybody else thought. And in that moment, I was totally and utterly free. It's an example of where you feel connected with yourself and everything else, totally happy, and where there's just no thought. And so being Freeing Friday, I'm just going to keep asking the question to everybody to say, how can you feel free, more free today? How can you bring more freedom to yourself? Now, because we're meaning-making creatures as humans, freedom will mean different things to different people. So just play with it. Have a think. What does freedom mean to you? And you'll all get different answers. And morning. You'll all get different answers in terms of what freedom means to you. And freedom to me means different things on different days. But certainly for me, being very aware when I'm living in the present moment with no thoughts, following my heart, and feeling that I am following my truth, living in my truth, that for me is very, very, very freeing. And it takes practice. It takes a lot of practice. So there's an ecology check with it, because if you ask yourself the question, how can I create more freedom in my life? Silent disco on the beach. Yes, I love that idea. Silent disco on the beach, amazing idea. Do you know, Amanda, I have never been to one, but I think it might be a totally and utterly amazing experience. I had my silent disco on Newgale the other day on my own, but I tell you, I would be very much up for having some buddies to join me for that. I think that would be an amazing idea. There's an ecology check when we ask for freedom, and it's very simple. If there are different ways of finding freedom in your life, and if you ask yourself the question, how can I create more freedom in my life right now and have fun with it? How can I create more freedom in my life right now and have fun with it? It's always worth, your brain can't not answer a question when you ask yourself a question. And that's a great question. How can I create more freedom in my life right now and have fun with it? Everybody who's watching will get a different answer. So there's an ecology check that's really important. And when we're asking for things and placing our focus on things, if you're asking for freedom and you've got an interesting an answer, always do an ecology check and just ask yourself, okay, is that good for me? Is that good for my family? Is that good for my community? And is that good for the planet? So if you were to go ahead and move forward with the request that you've asked. So, hi Monique, we've just asked the question, how can I create more freedom in my life right now and have fun with it? Always do an ecology check. And you say to yourself, if I was to do that, is that good for me? Is that good for my family? Is that good for my community? Is that good for the planet? If you get a yes on those 4 aspects, go for it. Just take rapid action and see what happens. And you'll bring freedom into your life quickly. If you get a no on any of those, there's a part of you that's saying, don't do that, it's not good for them, so don't do it. And then just ask again, how else can I create freedom in my life in an ecological way? And some part of you will get you to where you want to go. So that's it. So that's my sharing with you on this Friday. I'm wishing you all a wonderful Friday and start to your weekend. Remember where you place your focus, where your energy goes. No, it's gone. So it doesn't matter. You obviously don't need to know that. Just be aware of where you place your focus, because you'll bring more of it in. So I'm hoping that I've shared with you on Friday a celebration of life, how to feel more free in the moment, and the power of living in the present moment. And for me, dancing is very, very freeing. I live in the present moment. It helps me become very present and feel very relaxed, and that's a really great place to be. So I'm wishing that sentiment to all of you. Thank you all for joining me, and hello to everybody who's joined in on the live stream. Have a fantastic, fantastic day, and I will see you soon. Lots of love. Bye.